Hello friends, in the previous presentation we have discussed about the laws on electrical safety. Particularly we have discussed the Electricity Act 2003, that is 18 parts and 185 sections we have discussed under this Electricity Act 2003. Now in this presentation I am going to focus on the Indian Electricity Rule 1956. So with reference to that, with reference to some of the sections where we can make the rules for the state government or for the nation, and with reference to that power only this electricity rule prepared. So with reference to the section 37 of Indian Electricity Act 1910, these Indian Electricity Rules 1956 is prepared. So it has 11 chapters, 143 rules and 15 annexures. So again, it is very difficult to discuss each and every rule, each and every annexure and all the chapters in a single presentations. So I will show you the 11 chapters, 142 rules and 15 annexure list, and then we will discuss the points directly related to the safety point of view. So I will discuss only the safety point of view chapters or the rules, that is especially chapter number 4, under which the rule number 29 and 46 is listed, and the main title or the focus of this chapter 4 is general safety requirement. So if you recall the section 53 of Electricity Act 2003, which is related to the general safety requirement, with reference to that Electricity Act 2003 section 53 also, it is again important from the safety point of view. Now from that section, from that act, these guidelines are given in detail, and that is why it is called as rule. So in the rule, normally the details of the guidelines are given. So again, next chapter is chapter 10, under which rule number 109 to 132 are listed, where the focus is additional precautions to be adopted in mines and oil fields. So again, this chapter is related to the precautionary measures, that is safety measures to be adopted in mines and oil fields. So these two chapters and these rules are important as far as the safety is concerned. So we will discuss these chapters in detail, and only we will go through the list of all these chapter rules and annexures. So this is chapter 1 under this rule, that is preliminary, short title, commencement, definitions and authorizations. So rule number 1, 2, 3 under this chapter. Then chapter 2 is regarding the inspectors. So regarding the qualification of inspector, appointment of officers to assist the inspector, then the qualification of officers appointed to assist the inspectors, then entry and inspection, appeals, amount of fees, incidence of fees recoverable in the cases of dispute, submission of records, list of consumers, etc. So these are the different points which is directly or indirectly related to the inspectors of this authority. So in Electricity Act and Electricity Rules, when we called inspector, it means these are the electrical inspectors, right? So for these electrical inspectors, qualification criteria, eligibility criteria, experience criteria, their duties, their functions, etc. All these things are given under this chapter 2. Then chapter 3 is related to the license. So the persons or the company who is going to generate the electricity, who is going to transmit the electricity, who is going to distribute the electricity, and some different services which are directly or indirectly related to the electricity must have the license. So the application of license, then different copies of maps, draft license for public inspection, contents of draft license, form of draft license, advertisement of application and contents thereof, then amendment of draft license, local enquiries, approval of draft license, notification of grant of license, date of commencement of license, deposit of maps, deposit of printed copies, application for written consent of state government, then amendment of license, sale of plans, preparation and submission of accounts, model conditions of supply, forms of requisitions. These are the different parameters which are covered under this rule number 11 to 28, which is related to the license only. So this is covered under the chapter 3. Then chapter 4 is related to the general safety requirements. So this is important chapter from the safety point of view. So rule number 29 under this general safety requirement is related to the construction, installation, protection, operation and maintenance of electric supply lines and apparatus. So the part of these activities like construction, installation and protection, etc., all these things related to the electric supply lines and what are the guidelines should be there, what are the guidelines to be followed by that generating company, by the transmission committee or distribution committee should be listed in this 29. Then 30 is related to the service lines and apparatus on consumers premises. So whatever the apparatus, instruments, equipment should be installed related to these service lines, electricity supply lines in the consumer's premises are given under 30. Then cutout on consumers premises, guidelines are given under rule number 31. Then identification of earthing, earth neutral conductors and position of switches and cutout therein. All these guidelines related to this earthing and cutouts are given under this rule number 32. So what exactly earthing means, what is the bonding means, what is the resistance, what exactly the maximum resistance should be there, what is the procedure for this earthing, which wires and their technical specifications are needed, all these things are given under this 32. 33 is related to the earth terminal on consumer premises. 34 is related to the accessibility of bare conductors. Then 35 is related to the danger notices. So in case if high voltage lines are there or overhead lines are there or some issues which may create a risk, if there is a chances, then we must display the notice of danger. Then handling of electric supply lines and apparatus, that is covered under 36. So mostly when we are dealing with the electric supply lines or some other issues, that may be the installation, that may be a construction, that may be a repairing or maintenance activity, so we must go for the electric shockproof hand gloves, then shoes, aprons, and then we must use the digital meters to measure the electricity, that may be in terms of amperes, that is current, that may be in terms of voltage, that may be in terms of resistances, etc. Then 37 is related to the supply to vehicles, cranes, etc. So whatever the supply which is needed to the vehicles, some supply related to the cranes to operate that type of cranes. So all these precautionary measures are given under 37. Then 38 is related to the cables for portable or transportable apparatus. So whatever the cables needed for that supply, whatever the cables needed for the portable apparatus or transportable apparatus. So all these cables, their material of construction, their resistance power, their current capacity, all these things are listed in the 38 rules. Then rule number 39 is related to the cables protected by bituminous materials. Then 40 is related to the street boxes. 41 is related to the distinction on different circuits. 41A is related to the distinction of the installations having more than one feed. Then 42 is related to the accidental charge. 43 is related to the provisions applicable to the protective equipment. So whatever the personal protective equipments or some other protective equipments are needed, what are their characteristics, why they are needed, what are their properties, all these things should be known to the person who is going to handle these types of cables or some other equipments. Then 44 is related to the instructions for restoration of persons suffering from electric shocks. So in case of accident, especially electrical accident, that is shocks is happen in the premises, then how to handle that accident, how to remove the supply, what exactly the first aid is needed, what is the initial or primary first aid technique should be required, all these things should be known to the nearby persons. Then intimation of accidents. So when the accident is occur, which is related to the electrical supply, that should be intimated to the electrical inspector, to the safety officer, to the manager, to the plant head, and if it is needed, then to the government authorities. So depending on the type of accident, depending on the conditions of accident, we have to intimate about this incident accident on phone or on mail, or if it is needed, then we have to submit the report of details of accident. Then 45 is related to the precautions to be adopted by consumers, owners, occupiers, electrical contractors, electrical workmen, and suppliers. So there should be safety operating checklist or safety operating procedures as far as this electrical equipments handling is concerned. So for the consumers, for the owners, for the occupiers, for all the persons who are involved in these types of works, all these precautionary measures should be given to these types of persons. Then 46 is related to the periodical inspection and testing of consumers installations. So there should be some inspection process, there should be a particular frequency of that inspection, and generally the inspection is done by the electrical inspector, and in case of major cases, in case of major risk or hazard or accident, the inspection should be done by the chief electrical inspector. So these are the points which are related to the general safety requirements under chapter 4. Then chapter 5 is related to the general conditions relating to the supply and use of energy. Like 47 is related to the testing of consumers installations. Then installation and testing of generating units. Precautions against leakage before connection. Leakage on consumer premises. Supply and use of energy. Additional provisions for supply and use of energy in multi-stored building more than 15 minutes in height. Then provisions applicable to medium, high and extra high voltage installations. Appeal to inspector in regard to defects. Cost of inspection and test of consumers installation. Then declared voltage of supply to consumers, declared frequency of supply to consumer. Then sealing of meters and cutouts. Then meters, maximum demand indicators, and other apparatus on consumer premises. Point of commencement of supply, precautions against failure of supply, notice of failures. So all these rules are related to the energy supply and their use, and in case of any failure or in case of any technical issues, then we can communicate to the inspectors. So this is related to the general conditions relating to supply and use of energy, chapter 5. Then chapter 6 is related to the electric supply lines, systems, apparatus for low and medium voltage. So it is specifically focused on the low and medium voltage. So test for resistance of insulation, connections with earth leakage protective devices, systems at medium voltage. All these things are related to the low and medium voltage under rule 62. Then chapter 7 is related to the electric supply lines, systems and apparatus for high and extra high voltage. So previous chapter is related to the low and medium voltage. Now this chapter is related to the high and extra high voltages. So again, the extra and high voltages supply lines, systems and apparatus approval by the inspector, then use of energy at high and extra high voltages, additional provisions, testing operations maintenance, then metal sheathed electric supply lines, precautions against excess leakage, then connection with earth, general conditions, then pole type substations, condensers, additional provisions for supply and high voltage luminous tube sign installations, then additional provisions for supply to high voltage electrode boilers, supply to X-ray and high frequency installations. So all these points are covered under this chapter 7. Then chapter 8 is related to the overhead lines. So the material required for these overhead lines, strength of that material for these overhead lines, then joints are normally avoided. In case of joints, then precautionary measures should be taken. Then maximum stresses, that is factors of safety, that is FOS, should be calculated and should be observed by the inspector, because these are the overhead lines. Clearance above ground of the lowest conductor. So whatever the distance criteria from the ground is there, that should be maintained. Then clearance between the conductors and trolley wires, clearance from buildings of low and medium voltage lines and service lines, clearance from buildings of high and extra voltage lines, erection of alteration of building structure, food banks, flood banks, and elevation of roads, transportation and storing of materials near overhead lines, clearance, then routes proximate to aerodromes, maximum interval between supports, conditions to supply where telecommunication lines and power lines are carried on same supports. So if there is a airport nearby to these lines, if there is already power lines are distributed, and if already telecommunication lines are there, then we have to take utmost care, because these overhead lines are having more voltage than the general one. The lines crossing or approaching each other, then again these more care should be taken. Guarding should be provided to these overhead lines, and then service lines from the overhead lines, earthing provisions, safety and protective devices while handling these types of overhead lines, installation, maintenance, repair task, etc. Then protection against the lightning. So lightning protector should be installed onto this line, especially where maximum height is there, to avoid the lightning impact on these lines. Then unused overhead lines again should be inspected by that inspector, should be observed and should be taken care for these unused overhead lines. So these are the contents of overhead lines under chapter 8 from 74 to 93 rules. Then chapter 9 is related to the electric traction. So additional rules for these electric tractions are there, mentioned in 1904, and voltage of supply to vehicle. What should be the voltage? What is the maximum voltage? What is the minimum voltage? How to provide these types of voltage, etc. are given under rule number 95. Then insulation of lines, insulation of returns are mentioned in 96 and 97. Then proximity to metallic pipes, difference of potential on returns, leakage on conduit systems, Leakage on systems other than conduit systems are given under 100 and 101. Then passenger not to have the access to electric circuits, current density in rails, isolation of sections, minimum size and strength of trolley wire, then height of trolley wire and length of span, earthing of guard wires, proximity to magnetic observations and laboratories. Records are the different points under this chapter 9, which is directly related to the electric traction. Then chapter 10 is related to the additional precautions to be adopted in mines and oil fields. So this is again the important chapter as far as the safety is concerned. So this is the special precautionary measures and points or the rules covered under this 109 to 132 number of rules for mines and oil fields. So 109 is related to the application of this chapter, responsibility for observance, notices, plans, then lighting, communication and fire precautionary measures, then isolation, fixing of transformer, switch gear, etc., method of earthing, because these are the oil fields and mines. So special earthing provision should be maintained, special electrical equipment should be maintained, then anti-static tools should be used while installation, while repairing and maintenance work. Because flammable substances that may be in terms of liquids or gases may be present in the oil fields. Then protective equipments, earthing metals, etc., voltage limits, transformers, switch gear and terminals, disconnection of supply, cables, flexible cables, portable and transportable machines, then sun-dry precautions, precautions where gas exists, short firing, signaling, haulage, earthing of neutral points, supervisions, exemptions, etc. are involved under this chapter. So all these precautionary measures, all these safety points are covered under this chapter, which is directly related to the mines and oil field activities, especially related to the electric supply. Then chapter 11 is related to the miscellaneous. So the points which is not covered under the chapter up to chapter 10, that is covered under this miscellaneous point. That is relaxation by the government, where we can give the relaxation, that is by the government, that is decided by the government authorities only. Then relaxation by the inspector, depending on the conditions, depending on the low risk criteria, relaxation can be given by the inspector. Supply and use of energy, but non-licenses and others. Responsibility of agents and managers. Then mode of entry, penalty for breaking seal, penalty for breach of rule 44A, penalty for breach of rule 45, penalty for breach of rule 82, penalty for breach of rule 77, 79, 80, penalty for breach of other rules, and then application of rules and repeal. So all these points related to the penalties, relaxations are covered under this chapter 11. So these are the 11 chapters, 143 rules which is covered under this electricity rule 1952. And this is the list of annexure which is covered under this rule. So 15 annexures are there. Annexure 1 is related to the specification relating to the deposition of silver. 2 is related to the scale of fees for comparison with the Government of India. Standards referred to in subsection 1 of Rule 2. Then third is related to the model form of draft license. Then 4 is related to the summary of technical and financial particulars. 5 is related to the model form of accounts. 6 is related to the model form of draft conditions of supply. 7 is related to the form of requisition under clause 5 of the schedule of the act. Then 8 is related to the form of requisition for supply of energy under clause 6, sub-rule 5, that is related to the form of order under 5 and sub-rule 2 of rule 46. Then 9A is related to the model forms of inspection report. Then annexure 10 is related to the form of annual returns for mines. 11 is related to the annual returns for oil fields. 12 is related to the log sheet for mines and oil fields. Then 13 is related to the forms for reporting electrical accidents. 14 is related to the guidelines for providing training. 15 is related to the form for failure report for transformer reactors of 20 MVA and above. So these are the different forms, different reports, different model forms, etc. So all these things are given under the annexure title under these rules. Right? So these are the 143 rules, different chapters, and 15 annexures. So we will discuss in short what exactly the rules are there, and we will discuss the safety rules in detail. So this is rule 2, gives 57 definitions. One of the definition is danger. Danger is defined as danger to life or body part from shock, burn, fire, explosion, injury to persons or the property because of the electrical energy. So this danger means it is related to the electrical energy. So there are different types of dangers. The danger may be due to toxic chemicals, that may be due to poisonous chemicals, that may be due to flammable chemicals, etc. But this danger word in Indian electricity rule is referred to the electrical energy. So due to this electrical energy, there may be a chances of shock, burn, fire, explosion, or any type of injury to the person. Likewise, there are 57 definitions covered under rule number 2. Then flame-proof enclosure. So here again, this flame-proof is related to the energy. So an enclosure for an electrical machinery or apparatus to withstand internal explosion due to the flammable gas or vapor entered inside and preventing this internal flammation to the come out the external flammable gas or vapor in which it is designed to be used. So some of the electrical machinery or equipment or apparatus needed some of the flammable gas or vapors. So in some of the lamps also, for example, mercury lamp is there, so mercury gas is there, hydrogen lamp is there, hydrogen gas is there. So in some of the lamps, some of the apparatus, some of the equipments, some flammable gases or the vapors should be incorporated into these apparatus, and that is why flame proof enclosure is needed to avoid the accident or the explosion. So that reduce the impact of that explosion outside or nearby that apparatus. Then guarding or guarded means covered, shielded, fenced or otherwise protected by the means of suitable casing, barrier, rails or metal screens to remove the possibility of dangerous contact or approach by persons or objects to the point of dangers. So we have to provide some guarding. So there are different types of guards. Now we are discussing about the electrical apparatus, electrical equipments, and that is why this suitable or appropriate guarding is provided. Then intrinsically safe as applied. So that word means it is applied to the apparatus or associated circuits shall denote that any sparkling that may occur in normal working is incapable to cause explosion of inflammable gas or vapor. So that is why it is the word intrinsically safe. So it is especially for the sparking possibilities related to the inflammable gas or vapor environment. We have to avoid the sparking, we have to avoid the ignition source, we have to avoid any type of heating element in nearby the inflammable gases or vapors. Then there is a point related to the voltage. So voltage category is defined as low voltage category, that is less than 250 volt. Medium voltage, it means less than 650 volt. High voltage means less than 33 kilovolt, and extra high means more than 33 kV. So this low to extra high means from 0 to 250 or more than 33 kV. So these are the different voltage category which is covered under these rules. Then rule 4 describes the appointment and qualifications of the electrical inspector. So this is the main criteria, that the electrical inspector must have the degree in electrical engineering with at least 8 years practical experience, and for the assistant inspectors, that should be BE pass out in electrical engineering plus 3 years experience, or diploma in electrical engineer and 6 years experience is prescribed. So for the electrical inspectors and for the assistant inspectors, electrical engineering is the main criteria, and experience years is depend on the designation. Then chapter 3, rule 11 to 28 prescribes the licensing procedure, including maps, forms and conditions. Then rule number 29 to 46, which is related to the general safety provisions, that is we have already discussed. We will discuss in short again, that it is included the electric supply lines and apparatus, that is rule 29, that is shall be sufficient rating, mechanical strength and so constructed, installed, protected, worked and maintained to ensure safety of human beings, animals and property. So there are some IS standards are also given for these electric supply lines and apparatus, because depending on the material, depending on the properties of that material, these strengths are depends. Then there is another support, that is National Electrical Code is also available for guiding regarding the electrical supply lines and apparatus. So this is covered under rule number 29. Then rule 30 is related to the supplier and consumer. So both will take due precautions to avoid the danger from service lines and apparatus on consumer premises. Rule 31 is related to the suitable cutouts. Example, fuse in fireproof receptacles shall be provided in every service lines other than earth lines at consumer premises. So our focus is on consumer, because we have to protect these consumers, and if we protect these consumer premises, obviously we can reduce the risk. So the risk may be in terms of shocks, that may be in terms of fire, that may be in terms of burns, or sometime other types of accidents. Then rule number 32 is related to the earth and neutral. So the conductor shall be identified to distinguish from the live conductor, and position of switches and cutout shall be safe. So what exactly the earthing means, what are the earthing points, what is the earthing procedures, what are the earthing materials, how to go for the earthing process, and neutral conductors. All these guidelines are given under this rule number 32. Then rule number 33 is related to the earth connection, that is terminal shall be provided near the point of start of supply, and the consumer shall take steps to protect it from the mechanical damage. Then bare conductors should be inaccessible with rear readily accessible switches to cut off power supply. So we have to avoid the direct contact of the bare conductors. That is given under rule number 34. Then danger notices, that may be in the local language or in Hindi, that is national language, or in English, with a sign of skull and bones, because the skull and bone symbol represent a danger, which is given under IS standard 2551, and the words danger and volts is necessary near medium and high voltage installation, that is especially above 250 volt. So if there is a line or the installation of about 250 voltage, then we have to display these sign of skull and bones, and we have to display the wording danger and volts, that may be in the local language, maybe in Hindi or English, which is comfortable for the persons who are nearby to these installations. So that is covered under rule number 35. Then rule number 36 is related to the safety. So for the safety from supply lines and apparatus, earthing of lines, personal protective equipment to the workers. Now in this case, these gloves, rubber shoes, safety belts, ladders, earthing devices, helmets, line testers and hand lamps for protection from electrical and mechanical injuries, etc. So all these personal protective equipments are from the electrical accidents point of view. So we have to reduce the chances of accident. We have to reduce the risk of electrical supply or electrical hazards, and from that point of view, these types of PPE should be used, which is necessary. So that is covered under rule number 36. Then rule number 37 is focusing on the voltage cutoff switch. Then rule number 38 is related to the flexible cables to the portable apparatus. So heavily insulated and well protected from the mechanical damage is again preferred. So we have to reduce the risk, and that is why we have to prefer this heavily insulated. Now this insulation is nothing but the electrical insulation, not the thermal insulation. So we have to provide these apparatus from this electrical shocks, electrical energy, and we can avoid the mechanical damage also. So for single phase line, the cable should be of 3 core, and for 3 phase line, it should be of 4 core. So depending on the phase line supply, we have to use these types of cables. Then metal covering, if any, should be earth. So if there is any metal covering, we have to earth this metal covering. Then insulating or protecting material of electric line should not be of such material that may produce noxious or flammable gases on excessive heating, because in some of the material they have the characteristics that they can produce the different gases due to the excess temperature or at high temperatures. So we must avoid these types of material. Then rule number 40 is related to the street boxes, that street boxes should be free from influx of water or gas. They should be inspected regularly for that purpose. And rule 41 is related to the different circuit, should be distinguished from each other. Then 42 is related to the voltage, which is should not be exceed the limits, and AC/DC circuits should not come into contact with each other. Then 43 is related to the fire extinguisher for electric fire, fire buckets with clean, dry sand, first aid boxes, 2 or more gas masks to be used in the fire in the event of fire and smokes are necessary. 44 is related to the notice of instruction, which is to restore the person from electric shock and an artificial respirator. So resuscitation if necessary, then it is given under rule number 44. In case of accident and if the fatality is there, it means the death of a particular person is occurred in that accident, then it is called as fatal accident. So this fatal accident should be reported within 24 hours. And a non-fatal accident is reported in 48 hours. Then 45 is related to the electric work, which shall be carried out by the licensed electrical contractor under direct supervision of competent person, and the person holding permit by the state government. So for these types of electric work, electrical maintenance, electrical repairing, electrical installation activities, we must adopt some work permit or the permit from the state government or the license for that purpose. Unauthorized work shall not be energized. So we have to cut off all these types of energy for these types of electric work. Then 46 is inspection of installation at every 5 years by the inspector, which is mentioned in the annexure 9A as an inspection report form. Then the previous points are directly related to the general safety guidelines. Now chapter 5 is related to the rule number 47 to 59, which gives general guidelines, general conditions relating to the supply and use of energy. Rule 51 for medium, high and extra high voltage installation should be preferred. So for this condition, we have to refer rule number 51. Then chapter 6 is related to the rule number 60 to 62 for low and medium voltage. So for low and medium voltage safety precautionary measures and guidelines up to 650 voltage, we must refer 60 to 62 rule number, and for high and extra high voltage or medium voltage, we must refer rule number 51. Then under chapter 7, rule number 63 to 73 for high and extra high voltage, more than 650 voltage, provide for insulation resistance test, earth connection, then ELCB, testing, operation, maintenance, condensers and supply to high voltage installation, including X-ray units. So all these types of equipments, some provisions, some connections, some testings, especially for the 650 voltage plus criteria, that should be referred chapter 7. Then chapter 8 gives important safety clearance above ground and between conductors and provisions for material strength, stresses, joints, guarding, earthing, safety and protective devices. So all these guidelines related to these materials, their strength, stresses, then clearance, etc. are given under this rule number 74 up to 93. Then for electric traction and voltage supply to vehicles, insulation of lines, returns and sections, current density that is less than 1.4 ampere per centimeter square in rails, height of trolley wire more than 5.2 meter high, etc. All these guidelines are covered under chapter 9 in rule 94 to 108. Then regarding the safety precautions while working in mines, oil fields, which is covered under chapter 10, which is already discussed. That include plans, notices, lighting, communication, fire precautions, earthing, protective equipment, voltage limits, especially for the hand lamp or electric interlocking 30 volt, portable apparatus 125 volt, at surface or in open 250 volt, safety with gas supervisions, etc. So all these safety guidelines, safety points are given under chapter 10, which is mainly related to the mines and oil fields. Then the relaxation in some of the points in some of the rules and the penalty provisions for some of the rules are given under chapter 11 under rule number 133 to 143. So these are the details, that is electricity rule